What's poppin', everybody? Hello and welcome to Popcorn Culture. My name is Ben Carlin and I am your host. Here with me today is my brother Jay, who will be in every episode.
What's up, man? How's it going? Hope you had a lovely Christmas.
Thank you. Yeah, you likewise as well.
I know, yeah. You were probably there, as far as I know. That's the plan anyway. So
we're doing the thing where we're recording for the future, but the future hasn't happened yet.
Exactly.
So you're listening post-Christmas, but we haven't experienced Christmas yet.
Right.
So it always puts us in a particularly interesting spot. But the kind of fun thing is that as this episode airs, it will be the 29th of December, which means that we are just about to be at the turn of the year. It's about to be 2024. And so before coming in to record this particular episode, I was sitting down and I was just like, just out of curiosity, I kind of want to go back to this episode from last year and see what it was that like we were talking about, like what aspirations we had on the horizon, because I mean, this is always a fantastic time of year to sort of do that, like that kind of like in review, like how did I do? Did you have like any goals or what are they called at the beginning of a year? The decisions. Resolutions. Yeah. That's the one. I was like, I know this word. Do you have any resolutions or anything that you sort of like sought off to do and maybe did or did not do? And it was really interesting listening to the specific things that came up in this particular episode.
Oh man.
One of the things in particular was that you were talking at this time last year, because again, we would be post holidays, and you were talking about the concept or the term called stuffication.
Stuffication,
like being
stuffication, which is the like being suffocated by the amount of stuff you have.
Do you not remember this at all?
I mean that's I remember the word now that you say it, but it's not a word that has come up a lot. Is that what it meant?
That is what it means. Yeah,
okay,
yeah. So you were basically living in the aftermath of the holidays and all of the gifts that like you and your kids and everything got. So the house is now full of stuff, and at the time we were kind of talking about like what do you do about like all of the things, and basically what we were proposing pre-holidays for this year was that maybe you could go and do like a preemptive purge, like sort of get some stuff out of the house. Dude, so that when the new stuff comes in, did you do it?
I mean, not because I remembered the phrase stuffication or because we set out to specifically like prep for this, but yes.
Okay.
I mean, well, maybe just in preparation for like, we know there's a lot of Christmas gifts on the way in, but like there's definitely been in the last like 3 weeks, Beth has been in like purge, declutter mode.
Good.
And I know, I'm not sure it's like specifically related to like we're gonna have so much new things coming in.
Okay.
But it is but it has been happening anyway. And like even this past weekend I went through, like I cleaned out the garage, which had just gotten very, very cluttered and messy. It's like, it is amazing to me the like amount, and this sounds so dumb because I'm like walking just into my garage, but like the amount of like energy I feel walking into the garage now where it is like clean and open. Yeah. And it's like you wouldn't think. And it's like I don't even spend that much time in here. I don't even have that much use to be like most of my time in the garage is going to the fridge in the garage to get like a sparkling water.
Right.
Like that is my main purpose of being in the garage. And like it's not a room I spend time in, but just like the act of being in a clean room, like brings me such joy. And it's like, and it's the garage, you know?
No, I know. But I mean, I think like when you come to know a space as just being so cluttered, and then when you're in it and it's not cluttered, it's just like, oh, this is so nice.
Yes, there is. Okay. So in my bedroom, there is like on my side of the bed, there is just, there's the wall, then there's the space, and then there's the bed, right? There's like a...
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. What luxury that you have space between the bedside table and the wall.
I do.
My just in case anybody's curious, my bedroom is the size of the bed, and then we have two... I would say they are 14-inch round tables on both sides that we have a lamp on either side of our bed, and that touches one wall on one side, and then the other wall, it basically almost impedes the ability to open the door.
Okay.
So that is like the amount of space that our bedroom possesses.
So we've got the bed, then the nightstand, and then there's a space of about nightstand size next to the nightstand of open space, and then the wall.
Do you just do like yoga there? Jumping jacks?
So what happens though is like, it is amazing. So in that space, when there's nothing at all in that space, except for like, the lamp and the nightstand, the things that are supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Like it is the same effect. It is like this, I can breathe. It is so freeing. And yet, despite like the known value of this space being empty to me, I will like inevitably like leave a pile of pants there or something,
Yes.
Like it is always the spot. Like, I don't know if you have this problem, but like,
oh, I do. Yeah,
especially like, I do. Yeah, with like jeans or like if I like wear a sweatshirt or something with like a shirt underneath it, I will often get to the end of the day and be like, these clothes sort of fall into like a limbo zone where I'm like, I don't feel like they need to go through the washer.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying completely, and like I'm the exact same way. So like I typically I feel like my laundry basket will fill up so very quickly, and a lot of times I'll be like, what? Like how did this happen? It's been like a week's worth of clothes. Like I didn't wear that much clothes, and you go and you start like pulling like especially this time of year where it's cold. Yeah, like you're like sweaters and pullovers and hoodies and stuff, and it's like, okay, this is not dirty, and it's just taking up like a huge amount of volume.
It's taking So it's like in my effort to stave off future laundry clutter. Yeah. I like will take those clothes off, but because they're like worn and not like fresh, I like don't put them back in the dresser either.
Right. So like, that would feel wrong.
It's like, so I just put them here, but then I'm like, then there's just a mess there.
Imagine Beth coming in and be like, Jonathan, what is this? That's my pants pile.
No.
It's the other way around.
I mean, Beth does the same thing. Okay, her side of the room is more likely, I think, to have stuff on it than my side. But like, I don't have to go over there because mine is like you walk in the door and boom, it's right in front of you.
Okay.
So it's like if it's over there, like that doesn't impede. That's like her side of the room. I don't need to venture over there very much. I don't even have to like walk in that space almost ever.
Let me vent as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me vent as well. Let me vent because I mean this is another one of those. It's a very small room. It's like as a result we have like one small closet. It's not like we don't have like a walk-in closet or anything like that. And so that is the one that, to be fair, at least my closet is in the room itself, so I don't have to go to a separate room. However, we do have a separate room that is Alice's walk-in closet.
Right. Yeah.
So like she has a whole room of our house that is dedicated to being her closet. And to be fair, it's a small room. It's not like a full-size bedroom. Like I don't even think you could put a queen-size bed in there.
But it could function as a bedroom.
It could function as a bedroom.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. It has its own closet. It has its own windows. So it is technically, in fact, a bedroom. And the thing is that like if you were to go into Alice's closet room, and on occasion she's good about it, but for most part it looks like a bomb went off in there.
Right.
And there is just, like a myriad of stuff sort of everywhere. But then because my clothes are in the bedroom, it's like if I have like an overflowing hamper, it's sort of like I hear about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like wrecking her
it's in her space.
It's in her space all of a sudden. She's like, what's going on with all this? And I'm like, hey, now you have a whole room one wall over that looks a lot worse than my one hoodie that's like dangling on the floor over there. We're doing okay.
Yeah. But that's not a shared space.
I'm exaggerating this entire circumstance a fair bit for the bit, but but this has come up before, and at times I'm like, come on.
Yeah, but like sometimes I will like stare at my pants pile, next to my bed.
TM,
yeah, trademark. That's mine.
Yeah,
my pants pile, and I will like know in my heart that if it wasn't there, if I cleaned it up, I would be so happy. And at the same time, I'm like, you can't do it though. Like, don't leave it there. Definitely leave it there for sure. Like. As if it would be like really because I know it would make me happy, like doing it's like kind of selfish or something.
By cleaning it up?
By cleaning it up. Is that like a weird like personal relationship to have with something where you're like, I know that it will make me happy to do this, and because it will make me happy, that's selfish, and so I shouldn't do it. And it's like, it's so dumb because it's not selfish. It's helpful to literally everyone, including yourself.
It feels like you've got like mental wires crossed.
Exactly.
A little bit.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, which I understand, because I mean, it's like prioritizing your own individual needs is not always the easiest thing, especially, for someone like in your position where you've got like a big family and like kids who like need your attention and support so often. Mm-hmm. So I can see like where you've convinced yourself that like, like, it's like, no, you know, like I can't just do this. Like I need to focus on like everybody else, you know, like whatever. But yeah, that feels like a hilarious sort of like byproduct is almost like I leave a mess, but I don't want the mess to be there. And I actively am not happy about the fact that there's a mess, and it would make me very happy to clean it up, and it wouldn't even take that much energy.
That's the thing. It's like, it would only realistically take like 2 to 3 minutes to completely clean up this mess.
Yeah.
To bring me way and it's like the multiply. It's like if you were like playing a video game, like, why do you keep skipping that like 10 times multiplier over there?
Right.
Like it is like such a discounted happiness item over there.
Right. You would enjoy things so much.
Like you have to put in barely any effort and you would reap so much reward. And it's like, yeah, but like, you know, that it would make me happy to do that. So you understand.
If
it's off the table.
You get it.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm not going to go and fix this.
Exactly. I don't deserve it, you see.
Right.
So
In the meantime, you can buy...
It's like a form of self-punishment.
We should go on Carlin Brothers Mercantile and include Pants Pile. If you buy it, you receive nothing except for the new opportunity to go and leave your pants in a pile.
Exactly. Yes. Like
because you've clearly never considered this potential opportunity before.
Oh man.
So speaking of things you can buy, this is another funny story that we from last year's episode that I stumbled across.
Stuffication.
And I wouldn't have brought it up except for the fact that something happened this week that I thought was just that had so much like a comedic value to me.
Yeah.
You know, but like, so, okay, here's the premise. So last year we were talking a little bit about, I think you have a down the street neighbor who was discovering the fact that you were like a YouTuber in like more of a like actual capacity.
Oh, okay.
Rather than like sort of like a hobby type thing. Like,
yeah.
So basically the idea I think was that like their water was off. He was coming over to like shower, or somebody was.
And I remember the occasion.
Yeah, you were chatting with him, and in the process of doing so, you were going through like a myriad of sort of like there was like a Rhett and Link reference, and it was kind of like, oh yeah, we got to meet them once, and we did at like a VidCon once upon a time. And then the other one that came up was the Gregory brothers, who happened to be from our area, our region here. They were from Radford, and they now I think are in New York, but they make like a lot of like really cool like music related content.
Yeah, you probably know them from their hit remix of the popular YouTube video, The Pixar Theory.
Oh yeah.
And it's a real banger.
Totally. So I bring it up because we made this video, I believe. Okay, so here's the thing. Yeah, we were back when you and Beth were expecting the twins. We knew that you were going to be taking your paternity leave and taking like a series of weeks away from the office. And the Gregory brothers had reached out to us at one point in time about like songifying one of our theories that we could then like make into a video upload. And we were like, oh, this is going to be perfect because Jay is going to be out during this period of weeks. And that would give us like a video that we could upload sort of like while he's not there.
Yeah.
You know, and it could potentially be like a good way to sort of like make sure that we were still putting out and adhering to the schedule that we've always adhered to,
right?
You know, without like missing anything. And so they came through and delivered the Pixar Theory, the song.
Yes, they did.
Which is just absolutely amazing and hilarious. And it like blows my mind sometimes that you could go on iTunes and search Super Carlin Brothers and find that we have something there.
That we do.
You know, like with art and everything. It's truly glorious. And I remember like being like, oh my gosh, like it would be so wild if like something extraordinary happened from this. And you know, so with the Gregory brothers, who are really great to work with and everything, they were like, yeah, and so like, you know, basically like here's how it goes down, like, you know, and then once it's on iTunes, like you guys will like collect the royalties from like anything, you know, that is sold in association with it. And it was like, oh my gosh, that's gonna be so cool. Like I bet people are gonna love this, and they're gonna download the Pixar Theory, the song, and it's gonna be like a fun thing. And then it was just sort of like the video went live. It was like, you know, people told us, you know, like, oh, this is fun, like, you know, what a cool thing or whatever. And then like, you know, it sort of just like went like a little bit radio silent. And for years I was always sort of like, it's so weird that we never heard anything about like the like getting like receiving anything from the like the iTunes song,
right?
Like,
yeah,
you know, from where people had downloaded it and stuff. And you know, let's see, so the boys will be 4 in February.
Yeah.
So like we're coming up on this having been out for 4 years, just shy.
Gosh.
I know, which is unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah, exciting on that front too. But we got an email from the Gregory brothers like 2 weeks ago, and they were like, "Hey boys, guess what? You finally crossed the threshold to take a withdrawal, which was $200."
Wow.
Which is in 4 years how much the Pixar Theory Song had been able to successfully generate. And it was just one of those things where I was like, this is like such a comical underperformance.
Hey, Ben,
or
if
something.
it's one thing we know about us, it's that we don't know about music.
We just don't know. I mean, they do, and I think
they
did
do,
a truly
and they did an
spectacular
amazing job. If you haven't heard it, it's available on iTunes.
Yes, it is. We will link to it in the description down below.
It feels like one of those songs though. Like I like that. It feels like it could be like a TikTok. It could have like a 2-week run as like a TikTok sound. You know,
it does feel like that. Yeah, yeah. Like
there's
it could have its moment.
It could have its moment where it's like it's the like there's always those. One of my least favorite kind of successful videos on TikTok is when I see other people like they'll play this like kind of suspenseful dramatic music and it'll be like, it took me 20 years watching Toy Story to realize this, and it'll be like, or like Monsters Inc. and it'll be like, wait a minute, there's this poster cut to Monsters Inc. Oh my God, that poster's in the closet. What? And it's just like, dude, you just pointed out one Easter egg that is like well known.
Your whole piece of content was one Easter egg.
I'm just like, it infuriates me when I see that content like that has so many like thousands of hundreds of thousands of views or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I've made like video essays around that one little Easter egg you just pointed out, and it's like that even the point you're making isn't even like true. You know,
sure. Like it's not like an expansion on the story.
It's not an expansion on the story.
Yeah.
There's one in particular. I mean, there's plenty of these videos out there where it's just someone being like, "Wait a minute, did you notice this?" And it's like, I also don't believe for one hot second that the person making the video actually just noticed it.
Oh, sure.
I'm positive they just have a Wikipedia page open of
to
1,000 Easter eggs, and they're just sort of going through them. And this one caught fire.
Right.
But there's one in particular where in Monsters Inc. you can see inside of one of the monsters, one of the rooms, one of the monsters is scaring a poster that is also a poster Sid Phillips has on his wall in Toy Story.
Yeah.
And so like the little TikTok plays and you see him go in there and the person's like, oh my God, this, Sid scared this monster or whatever. And that's like the takeaway from the TikTok. And it's like, if you play that clip for 1 second longer, his little helper dude says, she was only 5, and it's like, it wasn't like, it is verified in movie that it wasn't Sid, that it was a little girl. And it's like, just, but so stuff like that drives me crazy. But anyway, I can see the Pixar Theory Song being like a different sound you could use for a similar thing where it's like, wait a minute, this was there? Everything is part of the Pixar, there. Or it could just be then a sound for like, isn't it weird when things are connected?
Right.
Like it doesn't have to be inside of Pixar. It's just like, did you ever notice this and this? Everything's part of the Pixar theory. I
know. Yeah. I mean, I feel like this would be like a life bingo card. Well, and I mean, it's I'm still not on social media for like a year and a half at this point, but it does feel like one of the things that would have been like so aspirational would be to like be like a viral TikTok sound of some kind.
Yeah.
Like to have said something in such a put together such a manner of words that ultimately yielded like just infinite use.
Right.
It's like, oh man, there's so many people who are going to use this.
This is going to be out there.
Such a hootin' and hollering good time.
Someday, maybe you never know. You never know with TikTok what's gonna like pop off.
What could be the
someday?
next?
I mean, or like what was it in Stranger Things? It was that Kate Bush song, the Running Up That Hill.
Oh yes, yes.
It's just like, hey, just 40 years later, casually topping charts for almost no reason. Not no reason. I mean, obviously the song was very good, and it just suddenly was like the song being used in like the climax of one of the best shows on TV. So
right, there's that.
Not for no reason, but it is just funny that it had a resurgence.
I personally sort of love that though. Like I feel like that's like it'd be so cool to be an artist and to have made all of these things, and then just like all of a sudden have this like weird lottery effect happen, just like way down the line.
I know.
Like a total renaissance of your work.
Maybe when we're doing Popcorn Recultured, we'll be like, hey.
yes.
What?
Right. That's the dream, Jay. That's the dream.
That's the dream.
So at some point we're gonna have to stop popcorn culture so that we can eventually re-begin Popcorn Recultured. Or does it just eventually become cultured in time. It just grows bacteria.
Yeah,
all over the place.
Gosh. All right, what else were we talking about?
Okay, let's see if I've got anything else. So also at this time last year, this is maybe more like resolutions of 2023. So I had a couple of big wins, which was that this time last year I was literally wearing my running attire in preparation. I think I was doing my second run leading up to the rock and roll marathon in Nashville, which I did. I check marked.
Nice.
Probably one of the hardest physical endeavors I've ever done in my entire life.
Excellent.
And kind of hilariously, I think we've talked about this on the pod once upon a time before, but it's like I did the exact thing, which was I picked a goal, I got all into it. It was like your Peloton for a month.
Yeah.
A month a day in the
month of April.
Yeah.
Yeah, Peloton a day in the month of April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in May.
Not in May.
But like, you put all this effort in, and the goal and the hope is that like, okay, maybe what will come out of the other side of this is I will have like established a new good habit that I will then, like it's like, yes, I put the marathon like finishing like, check mark, the bucket list item on the pedestal, and it was like, okay, I'm going to do that, and then maybe afterwards I'll just be like a runner again, and that'll be like part of what I do. And sure enough, I did the exact trope, which was that I trained and went out, and I was like in the cold weather, I was in the elements, like I mean there were days where it was like raining on us and it was like 33 degrees, where if it was like 1 degree colder it would have been snow, but instead it was just painfully cold.
Right.
Finally got out there, managed to get through the race, cross the finish line, and that was the last time I ran this year.
Right. It's like you put that carrot on the stick, and it was highly motivating, but the second you got the carrot, you were done. It's like, that's it.
I know. Yeah,
all I wanted was the carrot, man.
Yes, I did it. I did it. So that was a big one. And so now, like, as I'm kind of staring down the barrel at 2024 and trying to decide, like, what would be like the big aspiration, like what would be something that like I would like to put before myself as something that I can kind of like work towards, because it's this happens during times of the year. I always think about this during during the summer season, is that when you're younger and in your like middle school, high school years, summer is like the time that you get to go and like spend so much time with friends, because there's so much available time to be used, like, and you're not preoccupied with other stuff. And one of the things I feel like that I've discovered as an adult is that now when the summer months roll about, everybody is so busy with like everybody's traveling on a slightly different schedule. Everybody's got like, trips here, vacations,
right,
whatever. And so a lot of times I think I get to summer and I'm like, oh man, it's about to go down. Like so many adventures about to happen.
Right.
And then like the summer's over and you're sort of like, oh wow, okay, well I really didn't see as many people as I thought I was going to over this summer.
Like when you're a kid, your family has like maybe a big trip they're going on, and that takes up like 1 week, and in the rest of the time you as a kid are free to do whatever you want. But as an adult, like that's still true. Everyone's family's taking like a trip here and there, but because everyone's taking a trip that they've already planned, everyone isn't always in the same place to do all the things you want to do hanging out wise
at the same time. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that like the fourth quarter of each year ends up being very similar to this for me, where it ends up being like I'm like, man, I don't really feel like I've been like chasing any of like my hobbies or pursuits or anything like that, for like a minute.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because like, we enter into October, we go really hard, like, with Go Fest.
Yeah.
And then there's been, I've been doing those when we were young music festivals in October as well. We've got Addison's birthday, my birthday. So it's just, lots of like big weekends pre-allocated for those respective activities. And then you get into the month of November, and it's sort of like everything starts to like focus on, Thanksgiving and like, how are you going to get together for that?
Right.
And then the holidays, in the month of December, it's just like, it's full tilt every weekend, all the time and always.
Right.
And so, it's like you're I feel like I'm in that position where like I'm thinking so much where I'm like, okay, it's about to be a new year. It's about to be resolution time. What am I gonna do?
Right.
And I'm just like, my brain is just like blank. I'm like, I've got nothing.
Don't know.
Nothing coming into this new year. What about you? Do you anything you're like hoping to do, want to do?
Oh man, I don't know if I have like a specific like aspiration. The last year I had planned on doing the Richmond half marathon.
Yeah, you
but
are cursed.
I know.
Well,
I have on
at least 3 different occasions.
on
where
3
you have-
occasions. Yeah, I've signed up to do a half marathon and gotten and had to cancel for one reason or another. So yeah, that has been a bummer. So I've sort of been eyeballing the Shamrock half marathon, which is in Virginia Beach, the Shamrock and Roll. I think it's the same company that did the Nashville one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's just another rock and roll one, but because it's on St. Patrick's Day, they call it the Shamrock and Roll.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
good
very fun.
wordplay. Good wordplay.
Yeah. I know that one. That one, ironically, I have that like not to like continue the curse or anything, but that is one. Of the 3 I've signed up for, that's been 2 of them.
No way
Yeah,
that you've
so-
signed up for and then not been able to
And then
do.
not been able to do.
So this dates back to, I think,
Like high school.
yeah, 2003 maybe.
Yeah.
Because I did one of them.
Yeah.
When like we were training together like with Dad for also a rock and roll half marathon in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Over this like Labor Day weekend or something like
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
And
maybe it wasn't the Shamrock one, but it was a rock and roll marathon at Virginia Beach.
Okay, gotcha,
Which is
gotcha.
where the Shamrock one is as well.
Okay, gotcha.
So-
Yeah, so that was like when I was like 14, you were 16, maybe something like that.
Yeah, something
somewhere,
like
somewhere in
that.
that zip code.
Yeah.
And then again, it seems like it must have been like 8 years ago at this point in time. You were doing like a training program with like a local running company.
Yep. And then just had like pulled the IT band on the 11-mile training run, and that was sort of it for that. And then this year I had signed up again. I had like a coach I was working with, and I was very excited. I was like, I've got a plan. I'm going to do it. Just have a schedule, do schedule. Have a schedule, do the schedule. But then like not even related to running, I just like pulled something in my glutes, and I mean, you guys remember, I'm sure the episode where I couldn't even sit down because I was in so much pain. And like
Yes.
I was thinking about that the other day, like right as of like, now I'm like, perfectly healed and stuff, and I've been running and biking and stuff like that. So it hasn't been a problem. And I'm like, was it even really that bad? And it's like, it's so hard to remember pain,
It is.
and it's like,
so-
was I just being a baby? It's like, no, it was that bad. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I know part of me is like, just go for it, like try and actually finally do it. And part
Break
of me,
the curse.
I know, break the curse. And part of me is just like, am I willing to? Because then even if I do that one, like in that time frame is when we're going on our cruise to Disney. So it's like I'll definitely miss some amount of training to the cruise itself.
Oh, that's true.
Unless
That's
I'm
true.
running on the boat, which I guess you can do. I don't know.
Could you imagine running 8 miles on a boat that's
8 miles
actively
on a
traveling
boat,
through
yeah.
the sea?
Don't mind me, guys.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I bet some people do it. I don't
Almost
know.
certainly. I mean,
Yeah.
there's got to be like a jogging path,
Gotta
right?
be something,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I'm down. Yeah,
Okay,
count me in.
all right.
We can go for a big long run.
We'll just do a nice little run there. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, transition.
Transition. Ben, I have an update on the sled situation in my house.
I know you do.
I know, because you were there to help me.
I was indeed.
Yeah.
So as the recap.
Yeah. As the recap, there is just this ledge in my living room where the Christmas tree is, and for as long as I have lived in my house, I have thought there has been this like old wooden like sled that almost looks like a stroller or something. It's got like a handle where you could like push it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that that has been in our family for like over 100 years.
Yeah.
And it used to be up at our grandparents' house, and it's made its way to our parents' house, and I was like, Dad, could I put the sled up there as like decoration? He was like, absolutely, I love it. I think that sled was born for that spot. And I was like, exactly.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. And so he brings it over, and I go to put it up there, and there's this like light bulb, like a what is it called? Like a tube.
Yeah, like
bulb.
a fluorescent tube
Yeah,
bulb.
a fluorescent tube bulb, like which I knew was up there, but it turns out that it is so up against the wall and so screwed down that one of the sled runners, right?
Yeah.
Runners, yeah.
Why not?
Won't fit
one of the
between,
blades.
One of the blades won't fit between the light and the wall, and there's no way to do it. I'm gonna have to like get up there and unscrew it or whatever, and that turned out to be like a little bit challenging to go through. But so finally this past weekend you came over, had enough hands on deck to where we could like actually work on it. And you got up there and you were able to like unscrew the whole thing and we moved it and we finally got the sled up there and I was like, all right, here we go. It's about to be up there, only to discover that even though now we could fit one of the sled blades against the wall behind the light, that the sled is actually too wide by like an inch to rest the other blade on the ledge. It's like it would be falling off. And I was like, this is so annoying and not meant to be. And like, it's like an inch, you know, it's so close to fitting up there and it would look so good. And I just, it's like,
I know.
And at this point, it's like, as of recording this, it's like 5 days till Christmas. It's like, I think if I'm going to do it, it's like I got to rethink the whole dream here and get like a ledge extender or something.
A ledge extender. I know. Yeah. I mean, there certainly is a way to do it. We could also just like, you know, slap some bolts up in your ceiling and just dangle it from the sky.
Just dangle it, you know?
Like, I mean, sleighs are meant to fly.
I mean, that's the thing. Yeah, we could, that'd be a whole different project. Just like, just string it up from the ceiling, give it a full Santa effect, add some reindeer.
Absolutely.
You know, make this just like a full on project.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we can commit to it year round. And then by the time next Christmas rolls around, it's going to be perfect.
You know, yep. It'd be tricky. We need a huge ladder because the ceiling gets very high at that point.
It does.
But you know, you got to think about the end goals.
I know. That's what it really comes down to. I mean, like, this is one of those things, like, where people who, like, really go all out for the holidays and, like,
right.
you know, decorate, like, and have all the stuff and everything. It's like, they must, in addition to having all of the stuff and having spent the money to invest in everything, they also must have a rather sophisticated, like, system of, like both electrical wire management, because, like, you know, if you've got, like, 95 different inflatables in your front yard, it's like, that's a whole bunch of cords that need to be going places.
Oh, I know.
And then you got to store these things somewhere.
Exactly.
Man,
yeah.
I don't know how people do it.
It's a lot of stuff going on. So anyway, it doesn't look like the sled is going to get up there. As for the timer on the lights, which this was so funny. I don't know if you guys have seen these yet, but the new podcast editor, the Popcorn Culture editor, Isybelle, has been doing little animations of some of our conversations.
Yes,
which
indeed.
are like, oh my God, I love it. It's so much. It's so funny. I think they are perfect. And if you haven't seen them, you should go check them out. It's like little Popcorn Culture animated. It's super fun. But she made one of me talking about how there was no way for me to go change the timer because the act of like going out the door got the children too rambunctious. And I sent the animation to Beth and she thought it was, first of all, hilarious because she knew exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But then after she got the animation, she like texted me back like 2 minutes later and was like, I fixed the lights. Thanks for the reminder. And I was like, exactly. Like that's how long it would have taken. Clearly you were inside of a window of opportunity during like quiet time or something. You just went out there and fixed it and done. And now they come on in the morning. So that part has been fixed.
I know. I thought the hilarious thing for me was that I also sent the animation to my wife Alice, who then was like, "Wait, should we have our lights on early in the morning?"
In the morning, yeah.
And then I was like,
and you were like, "Wait, I'm gonna have to go figure out the timer."
I'm like, "Don't make me go out there. This will never happen.
It's not gonna work. Didn't you see the cartoon?" Yeah, so there's that. Boy, this is like I had like the same phenomenon happening last night though. So yesterday, God, if you listened to After the Final Pop last week, you'll know that we earlier this week did a Pringles challenge.
Yes, we did it. Well, yeah. I mean, you did.
Yeah.
I abstained.
Yeah, you did, which is probably for the better. I might be suffering from Pringle poisoning, but. But what happened was last week, I forget even what the circumstances were, but we were discussing in office how fast we thought a single person could eat an entire tube of Pringles.
Yes, a pipe of Pringles.
A pipe of Pringles, a tube of Pringles.
A sleeve,
just a standard size can of Pringles. And Isybelle, the editor, told her boyfriend he thought it was hilarious. And so we came out of recording the last week's episode, and he was just there with 4 tubes of Pringles for me and him and you and I.
I know this was
Ethan. Sorry.
It reminded me so much of like early GMA days.
It was such yes.
Like it was like one of those things like we were talking about it in such a capacity. I was like, oh, what a fun thing to think about. Okay, that's that. And then this was like, but like I know that like high school age, college age us would have been like, oh yeah, it's on.
It's
like,
on.
It's like, should we drop everything we're doing and go use all $11 we all collectively have to buy 4 cans of Pringles?
Right. Yeah. And then make ourselves sick with it. It's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the challenge was, could you finish, you couldn't use water, but just could you eat the entire tube of Pringles in under 10 minutes? And I don't want to brag, but yes.
Yes.
Actually, I am going to brag because I paid dearly for it. It's for these bragging rights. So
yeah,
prepare to hear them.
Yeah.
Yes. So ultimately, yeah, Ben didn't do it, but me and Ethan and Isybelle's boyfriend also did it. And we were going through, I think it took me 8 minutes and 40 seconds to finish the whole tube.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think Ethan did it in 9 minutes and 30 seconds. And I think Aaron didn't finish it all.
Yeah.
So unfortunate for him.
So sad. That's okay.
So sad. That's okay. Well done.
Valiant
Probably for the better.
Yeah.
Because almost immediately afterwards, I just had like an upset stomach. And see, like Beth had like a stomach bug last Friday. And so I'm not sure whether I was suffering from like Pringle poisoning or from just caught the stomach bug, or if I caught or if in the process of getting sick with said stomach bug also decided to down a tube of Pringles.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Some combination of that was happening. And I was completely out of work all day yesterday, either from Pringle poisoning or stomach bug. But that's not even the point of the story.
Okay. What's the point of the story?
The point of the story is that getting back to the kids, like the fluctuating atmosphere of the house and like what the kids will pick up on is like last night I'm like sitting there and I'm like mostly recovered from my Pringle poisoning, and I'm sitting there on the couch, and it's like normally this is what I might strike up a game of Gears with the children, you know,
well, of
and
course,
they're recognizing like I'm on the couch, it's nighttime, like let's go. Well, you want to play Gears? And I'm like I really can't. I'm not like I'm still in a recovery mode here, and I just want to sit and like not be bothered and just like chill. And like I don't want to be upstairs sitting like alone in my room because like I've been up there all day just like being in pain. Like I want to be downstairs with the family.
Right.
But like I can't really do anything either.
Yes.
So, but like no matter what, every time I sit down, a child comes and jumps on me or needs me to go do something or play with them or something, and I'm just like I can't. I just like gave up. I'm like I can't sit down here. I can't sit down here because my presence is just making you guys crazy.
Right.
And so it's like I just like went upstairs, and sure enough, the three of them went on to just play by themselves, you know, for like the next, yes, which was nice. And Beth's like, oh, I was just sitting down there. And I was like, yeah, I can't do that. Like, it doesn't work for me. You can sit down there. They won't come bother you. If I'm sitting there, it's making them crazy.
No, me and you share this one thing in common. I mean, you have more children than I do, 3 to 1 at least. And, but I do have the 2 dogs at my house, and it's the exact same. Like if I walk into the house and plop down on my couch, then within seconds, both dogs and Addie will be on top of me. Yeah. Like actively like climbing all over my person.
Right.
And like Alice will be like sitting in the rocking chair across the way, just like laughing up a storm because she's like, they don't do this to me. I don't know what's going on.
I know.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Like, why is it like this?
Yeah. It's like, and it's usually like, I don't usually care because usually I can just get up and play with them.
Right.
Like,
of
that's,
course. Yeah.
You know, that's what I want to do. It's like on this occasion, it was more problematic because of either Pringles or sponges, but you know, it's all right. We made it through.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're feeling better.
Yes,
made
me
it through
too.
the other side. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I feel like it was such an easy to pitch concept, which is just like, because I mean, really what it reminds me the most of is like whether or not you can eat. People say like you can't eat like 5 saltine crackers in 1 minute.
Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about that led to this.
Yeah, and so that's like one of those challenges where it's like 5 saltine crackers, especially like if just laid before you, seems like such an insubstantial amount of like food to consume that it's like, of course I could do that. Like that's no problem. And then you put them in your mouth and it dries your mouth out so immediately that you're like, oh no. And you're like chewing through like cement basically.
Yes.
And so the big question was like whether or not the Pringles were going to be the same way. And I was like, oh my gosh, like are we inventing like a challenge here? Like is this going to be like a thing?
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like I feel like you and Ethan and Aaron all had sort of like bad side effects from like eating too much processed Pringle food.
Yes.
And it was sort of like, maybe this is not a good idea.
I know. Yeah. I was just like, this was, you know what? I there was a challenge and I did it, and it was super. You're right. It was very like in fact, even immediately afterwards, I texted Mike and John and was like, guys, new challenge.
Guess what?
Who can do it?
Yeah.
And like later that day, like they were texting like, Mike, did you get it? No, did you? It was like, oh, I got the bag, but I haven't done it yet. You know,
Right. I know. We should probably send them a quick warning, like, guys, abort mission.
Definitely not.
Not going to give him that warning.
No.
Not this close to the holidays.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Mike can totally do it too. You see, that guy has a huge mouth. Man.
He does. Yeah, he has the exact. Me and Mike are like polar opposites, and maybe that's why we're such good friends. But I have the least amount of mouth volume known to man.
Yeah,
like
right.
it's just like there's just not a lot of room in there to like hold stacks of chips and such.
Yeah, right. Like handful of M&Ms, laughable.
I know. One by one.
One.
That's how I got to do it. But then we literally, I think when we were in high school, we would whenever we would go to cross country meets, it was always a big thing for like one of the parents of each of the athletes on the team to bring fruit. And so grapes were this like really big one. It was actually extremely comical because like the team mom would like send out these like extremely forceful emails that were like in all caps, like
in the subject line. Yeah,
like grapes, we need grapes.
Like urgent, we need grapes.
Yes. So I feel like she must have worked in like an industry that was like very like high stress, where it was sort of like this is like the way like ideas were communicated.
Yeah.
But like to anybody who isn't used to this form of communication, it was always sort of like, okay, there will be grapes.
Yeah.
Like
calm down.
But either way, as a result, we typically came up with lots of games like, throwing grapes in the air and seeing if you could catch them in your mouth and like whatever. But one of the other things that we did was how many grapes can you fit in your mouth at once? And I feel like I'm like a 13 guy.
You're I don't know.
Even that seems kind of steep. Now that I'm saying
I'm like, you're 13, are you?
But I feel like Mike was like 53.
Mike was like, don't even try to compete with this kid.
But like all I was really trying to do the whole time was set up the baseline. I know Mike was like 53, and I know that I was like comically small by comparison.
Yeah, right. Like just not even close.
Yeah, it was like wow.
Right.
But yeah, so.
There you go. Yeah,
So,
are you good at catching food in your mouth?
This is historically no.
Really?
This has not been something I've been like very good at. But I am on the hot streak. We go to like hibachi dinners every once and again, and they do like the shrimp toss. And I think on my last 3 visits, I'm 3 for 3.
Wow.
So like, I know. I mean, I'm in fact, I'm not even bragging because I'm certain I just ruined it for myself.
Yeah.
Like the next time I go, that'll be it. I'm done. I'm out.
Right.
Can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Yep. I think I remember it was a grapes thing. I was at a Virginia Tech football game, and I was tailgating with a friend in high school, and like they had some game where it was like, we were like just taking a grape in your hand and like doing like an underhand toss, but trying to throw it as high in the air as possible and then catch it in your mouth.
Ooh,
so like
good challenge.
Which by the time it's coming back down, it is moving, you know. Like so
terminal velocity.
Yeah, is moving very fast for something you're trying to catch in your mouth. And I remember like we spent like a while doing this, and I got home and I was like, I'm gonna get good at doing this. And just doing like regular toss it in your mouth.
Right. No, I was gonna say I feel like you're good at this.
I think I am fairly good at like catching stuff in my mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but just a random hidden talent of mine.
I know. Well, maybe what we should make, Jay, is like kind of like goldfish, but we can make them like ducks, and then we can have like duck and cup.
Oh yeah.
Cheddar snacks. And you throw them up in the air and try to catch them in your mouth.
There you go. That sounds great. Yes.
I like that one.
Yeah,
that could be good.
Okay,
that's a worthwhile idea.
Yeah, we need some kind of fun. There's got to be some sort of fun duck cheese pun out there.
Certainly. We're probably dancing all around it right now.
And people are like, guys, it's right there.
They're screaming at the radio. Come on.
Yeah. I feel like, I do feel like it's circling right there. People are like, guys, it's
Quackers.
Right there. Yeah, Quackers there. That's obviously it.
That's obviously it.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got there. Don't worry, we got there.
Yes.
Oh man, what a relief for everybody at home.
I know. Get your cheese Quackers. There you go.
Cheese Quackers.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow. Whew. Man, I do. That was gonna drive me crazy. I was gonna like call you in the middle of the night and be like, Quackers, man.
And I wouldn't have even needed context. I'd be like, no.
I was like, what was that? And you'd be like, no way.
Yeah, right.
Did he say Quackers? Like, it makes sense. I got it.
I understood.
I understood.
Like, okay.
All right, you guys. Whatever.
Coming to a mercantile near you.
Yes.
All right, transition again.
Transition. Okay, Ben. Last week, we were talking about how one of the real bummers about being, aspiring treasure hunters is like, where do you start? Like, is there like a good, well-known treasure that hasn't been found?
If there is, I want to know.
Well, Ben, good news for you.
It's all happening. Right. This is it.
I mean, possibly.
Are you about to explain to us our future legacy?
I mean, maybe. This would be this would be such a cool legacy, by the way.
Yeah, I'm aware. Yes.
I know, it's like I've seen National Treasure. I know who the coolest person to ever be imagined is.
I'll get the lemons for the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, or whatever.
Come on.
There's nothing about the National Treasure that bothers me more than the scene where they put the lemon juice on the back of the paper and then they look at each other and they breathe.
Yeah.
And then it's like.
I know. It's like this weirdly sort of like they're like making it romantic or something.
It's
but
very
like
breathy.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yeah. Anyway, so continue though.
Get your breath off the Declaration of Independence, guys.
But for real.
But
show some respect.
After you stole it.
Respect is gone. It's like clean out the window.
Put lemon juice on it. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
What are you doing? Anyway, so we were on a call last night with some of our patrons over on Patreon.
Yes, we were.
Yes, we were. And we were discussing pirates because we've both been watching the show Our Flag Means Death.
Yes. Which if you're a fan of like Thor Ragnarok and like that kind of like Taika Waititi humor, I think he either writes it. He's in it.
He's in it. Yeah.
But it is absolutely just like that kind of just like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is nonstop. It is a very wackadoo show about pirates.
Yeah.
But it follows the characters of Stede Bonnet.
Yes.
The gentleman pirate.
Yes.
And then he runs into Blackbeard, who is like a Stede Bonnet in the show is like a terrible pirate. He's just sort of like was a rich guy who fancied being a pirate. So he's like, I guess I'll just go do it.
I guess I'll go do that.
I guess I'll just be a pirate for fun. And then he meets Blackbeard, and Blackbeard is of course like the best pirate ever. Yeah. But he's getting kind of bored of it. So they're just sort of learning from each other on the show. Yeah. And it's just sort of like comical because Blackbeard's supposed to be ruthless and Stede is so bad at being ruthless.
It's like one of his mottos is like talk it out on the boat.
Right. Like on like the first episode he's like having his crew like doing arts and crafts.
They're all like stitching flags.
Yeah. It's a really weird show, but very funny at the same time.
It is.
It has a very particular sense of humor about it. However, the point is that as I'm watching the show, as I'm learning on the call last night, though, because we were talking about it, that apparently Stede Bonnet was a real person.
I know.
And I was like, what? Stede Bonnet was actually a real life person who went by the gentleman pirate.
Yes.
And I was like, that is crazy. And then this might just sound like completely ignorant to me as well, but like, even just like Blackbeard comes up so much in every version of any pirate story ever. It's like, oh, there's Blackbeard again. Yeah. It's like, to me, it's like Blackbeard just sort of a fixture of pirate lore. But it's like, oh no, he was real too. Right. And I was like, wait a minute, how many pirates that I've heard of are real? Like, then you start wondering, like, wait, like how many pirates that I think were fictional are actual real pirates? And it's like I would have put Blackbeard and Stede Bonnet in the same category as like Long John Silver and Jack Sparrow, who and those last two are fictional pirates.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yes.
So no Long John Silver. That's just a fast food.
That's just
eatery.
From Treasure Planet.
Oh, Treasure Planet.
Treasure Island.
Island.
From Treasure Island, which Treasure Planet is based on.
Okay. But then what about?
Jack Sparrow is just from Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, I know that one, but isn't Long John Silver also?
Long John Silver is based on Treasure Island too.
No. The restaurant is.
Yes.
Okay, the restaurant. Okay,
the restaurant.
Gotcha.
The restaurant is named after the character in the book. Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. I'm surprised they were able to get away with that. But yeah.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so continue then.
But so yeah. Anyway, and then I was wondering, like, I was looking through. I just went on Google and looked up like list of like most famous real pirates, and there was like 15 more pop up, and I'm like, God, I've heard of like a good number of these. All right, wow.
I'm remarkably well versed in pirates. I was
me. Like, boy, I just thought so many, like, because pirates are like such a fun like fictional, like there's so many fiction stories about pirates that you just sort of assume that like that they're just like the characters are fake, but they're based on real people a lot of the time.
I think the thing for me was I can't even remember what the name of the movie is now. It's Captain something with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
But like he's like driving like a freighter out at sea, and like the pirates in that particular situation are sort of like commandeering the boat, which is otherwise like minimally staffed.
Yeah.
And so like but they're not out there in like a pirate ship. They're out there just like in like small boats with ladders that they can like throw over the edge like once they're up there and they have the intent to like cause harm.
Right, like they have weapons and you don't, so.
Exactly. And like I feel like that has always been one of those things that sort of like recontextualized the idea of a pirate, and it was sort of like almost everything we've ever seen about pirates in my mind all of a sudden became more like a work of fiction. And
right.
It seemed like what we were uncovering last night is like, no, there are in fact like famous pirates, and like some of like, I mean, I'm sure it's never as whimsical and always far more dangerous.
Right.
Like in terms of.
Yeah, but I think it's a lot less swinging on ropes and cannon battles and buccaneering the way you think about it.
Right. Yes.
There's actually like a really good CGP Grey video about how pirates work. And it's like most of pirating is more about like branding.
Okay.
It's like you think about like the Jolly Roger, for example, like the flag with like the black flag with the skull and the crossed swords or whatever.
Right. Yep.
Right. It's like, but like you'd think like, why would you ever like run the Jolly Roger? Wouldn't that just announce that you're pirates? Wouldn't people run from you? Wouldn't that like alert, the Navy to come stop you or whatever? Like, why would you have a flag? That seems so stupid. And it's like, well, they don't run it all the time. They run other flags until they get close to you, and then they run the Jolly Roger, and then you see that they're pirates, and because you're going to lose, you just sort of either negotiate like, okay, how about this? Like, I give you a bunch of money and you don't kill my crew, and they're like, yeah, that sounds good to us. Thanks.
Reasonable enough. We'll take it.
We won't kill anybody, and everyone walks away happy except you, because you don't have as much money as you did.
Right, but now we do.
Yeah, but basically, it seems like it's more about like pointing the guns than shooting the guns.
Right. Right. Yes. It's almost like at some point in time, somebody needed to establish the threat was significant enough. And then everything from then after is just sort of like fear of that thing happening again.
Right. And it's like sort of like, even if you're equipped, even if you've got weapons on board, it's like, all right, it's like the pirates are like, yeah, no, we're here to tussle. So it's either you give us the loot without the tussle, or we go ahead and go ahead and tussle it up, and we'll just see. If you think you can beat us, that's great. But like even if you do beat us, it's not like no one's gonna walk away unharmed on your end,
right? That's true. That's true. It's like there will be casualties.
Yeah, there will
no matter
be.
what.
Yeah, like our flag means death. So
right. Oh yeah, I see. That's the reference. See, that's the name of the show.
I think that's what they're gonna. I bet in the show they get to like the flag being branding at some point.
Well, even the fact that he Steed gives himself the name of the gentleman pirate. It's almost like the character, as inept as he is at being an actual pirate, seems to actually fully understand that like, hey, like when it comes down to it, it's like what I need is the reputation.
Right.
Like, I mean, and he's being silly about it. Like I feel like I can't even say like he's accidentally being good at establishing a reputation attached to this moniker.
Yeah. Well, actually, even as I'm saying it, I think there is an episode where like Blackbeard is feeling like really like bored with being a pirate, and he's like, I don't even have to be on the ship anymore. People just know it's my ship and they surrender.
Right.
And it's like,
yes,
exactly. So he's bored because pirating is no longer like buccaneering and swinging around.
It's not a challenge.
It's just become like it's too easy.
Yeah. I pull up, they hand over all their valuables, and then we leave, and so now I've got more riches than I know what to do with.
So anyway, I was like, I just watched One Piece as well, which is another amazing pirate show you should watch on Netflix, or just watch the anime if you've got like a free 500 hours.
1,000 episodes.
There's 1,000 of it. It's very long. But I was like, okay, is Blackbeard in One Piece? Because he at least wasn't in the first season. Okay. But I was like, this is like the ultimate pirate anime. It's going on for 1,000 episodes.
Like
certainly they have a Blackbeard character.
At this point in time, they've accidentally included him. Right. It seems.
And like, sure enough, they do. He's a huge antagonist. We just haven't met in the show yet because he's not like season 1 baddie level. He's like later on. So there's that. And then I was like, okay, so clearly he's in there. And then I was like, is Stede Bonnet a One Piece character? And I guess he is, but it didn't seem like there was an obvious picture. So I don't know if he's just in like games or something. I don't know.
Sure.
But Anyway, but then the whole story about One Piece is that at the beginning of the show, there's this character called Gold Roger, and the Navy has finally captured him. And before he dies, his final words to this giant crowd of people are, "I've hidden my massive treasure, the One Piece, out there." To be found. Whoever finds it shall become king of the pirates. And it's like, so like the Navy, in giving him his final words, has just turned an entire massive crowd of people into pirates who now want to find, like they've caught the big one, but now they have 1,000 more problems.
Right.
So it's like he gets this sort of like last revenge in there or whatever.
I like that.
So I was like, okay. Is Gold Roger based on a real pirate? Like, is this guy? And I looked it up, and it turns out, Ben, that there was a guy named it says he is likely based on the real life pirate Olivier Levasseur, who was a French pirate nicknamed La Buse, or the Buzzard, or La Bouche, the Mouth, in his early days for the speed and ruthlessness with which he always attacked his enemies, as well as his ability to verbally attack his opponents. He is known for allegedly hiding one of the biggest treasures in pirate history, estimated at over £1 billion, and leaving a cryptogram behind with clues to its whereabouts.
1 billion?
1 billion, Ben. 1 billion pounds out there, and it has apparently never been found.
No way.
I know, with the cryptogram and everything. My goodness.
I mean, it seems like, but it's so, and I'm like, the part of me that wants it to be real immediately was like, okay, ears up, and then it's also like, how would it have not been found?
How would it have not been found?
This is I mean, it reminds me so much of Ready Player One, where it's like, how did it take so long for anybody to find a key?
Yeah, I know. Right?
It's like no way. Like, everybody's been looking and nobody's ever done it.
Nobody looked on Ludus, Ben.
Nobody looked
the
on
old
Ludus.
school system.
Yeah.
But this guy, that's like July 1730. That's when he died. So it's been a good 300 years here.
I know, but this also feels like such an ironic revenge. Like, I mean, exactly like as you described in One Piece, where it's like, it's such a good way to like leave by being like, haha, I may or may. It's Schrodinger's treasure.
Right.
It's like until it's been found, it either does or doesn't exist.
I know,
it's both.
I know. So that is, I don't know if he was doing it as some kind of revenge. This is only me reading like one paragraph or whatever. I'm not sure if he was like, ha, I'll show you. I'll turn a whole generation of people into pirates.
Right.
Something like that.
Is there any possibility that this is what birthed like Stede Bonnet in the first place? Like a similar kind of call, because like I think part of the novelty of Stede as a character is that like he was basically like a at least somewhat wealthy landowner. Yeah. So like, he's living a life that I feel like in lots of stories, plenty of people would have gone to quite extraordinary lengths just to simply have the life he already had.
Right.
And then for him to optionally leave it for a life of piracy feels like even for a pirate, to me, on some level, it almost feels like your end goal would just be to be where he started.
Right.
Which would be to like go and collect enough treasure to where you don't need to go and be on the high seas anymore.
Right.
Like you can just go and live a life of luxury, of comfort.
Well, and such is the plot of the show, that like Stede is so wealthy and so like doesn't need to do anything, that the monotony of his life has led him to the sea, and Blackbeard's success as a pirate has led him to such monotony that he no longer wants to be on the sea.
Right.
So they're like, so they actually end up being friends. But then this was the other thing. So you're reading about Stede Bonnet, the real life gentleman pirate. Turns out him and Blackbeard were actually friends.
No way.
Yes. Like,
what the heck?
How does this show actually have some basis?
I know,
because it just sounds like you chose like the cheesiest pirate in the world and matched him up with the most ruthless one. And of course it's funny, but it's like, no, that was real.
Yes.
That part happened. Of course, it probably wasn't as hilarious as having these two actors,
play it out.
Yeah,
but
play it
I
out,
feel like
but-
from what I've heard, like what we were talking about on the call last night was that Stede Bonnet like actually paid his crew like a salary. and
Yeah,
everything.
like he was like the gentleman pirate.
Like an actual thing. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And I mean, it's one of those things like where, a lot of history that like makes its way through time, it oftentimes does feel like because it was something that was so remarkable that it merits being remembered, and a lot of times that ends up being kind of bad things throughout history. And I mean, I think in a lot of ways piracy probably involved a fair bit of bloodshed, but like the idea of like being able to just simply like witness a pirate ship like in its truest form is something that, like, if I had a time machine, I'm like, I would go back and I just want to see what it was like like for one day, like living on a pirate ship,
right?
Just go and just be like totally undercover and yeah.
So anyway, Ben, the answer, is there a treasure out there? Maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay. So here's the real question. Do you think that someday when we're like 65, we'll be recording Popcorn Recultured from our makeshift vessel at sea, and we'll have to like come into port on occasion so we can upload our episodes.
I know, right? Maybe.
To the intersphere. Right. Unless at that point in time, there's just internet out at sea.
It's just like stuff like this where it's like there's a giant treasure like this out there. Like, because he was like a French pirate or whatever. So it's like wherever he's like sailing around, it just seems like in the last 300 years, somebody would have accidentally found it.
I know
by now, right?
This is like one of those things that where it's so hard, I think, to mentally comprehend just how darn big the ocean is. Like,
right.
Because, I mean, this is one of those things like where there was a flight that Beth was all like interested in.
Oh yeah, like the Lost Malaysian flight.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's like one of those things like where you would imagine like a modern day plane going down at sea, especially like with some semblance of like where it was supposed to be and when. It's like, well, surely we can go and examine that seafloor, right? Like, how hard could that be? It's like when I go on Google Earth and I zoom out to the point where I can see the whole globe, it's like I can see so much ocean at once,
right?
But then it's like you get out there and it's like, oh, there's miles and miles and miles and miles and every
and
single
you're just like
direction.
This tiny little boat. Yeah,
you're a tiny. Even if you're a huge boat, you're a tiny little boat.
Right. Exactly.
So I feel like what they really need is like whatever they invented in Wakanda Forever. Like the device that could like scroll the bottom of the ocean, like looking for like signals or some type of like metal presence or something,
right?
That's what you need.
That's what you need.
Yeah, so we got to invent that thing.
Yeah,
like the Mars rover, but for like underwater.
Yeah,
just go drop it in the water.
Just drop it in the water. Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah,
let it fall. But do you think his treasure would be underwater?
Oh, you know what? I did assume that.
Yeah.
I might be just like being like, oh, Pirates of the Dead Fleet. It's just like it was in a ship that went down, or it was thrown overboard, or but you couldn't have had 1 billion pounds in one ship, no matter what. In
I know.
17,
yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like wherever he's stashing it all, it's got to be somewhere he has to be able to. He wants to be able to access it himself.
That's it.
We're
gonna go steal the Declaration of Independence.
That's because that had something to do with this guy.
Almost certainly. I mean, that treasure I would believe is 1 billion pounds of treasure.
The Declaration of Independence?
No.
That's probably worth more than 1 billion.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. It's like, what would it be worth?
How big was that heist?
Right. Yeah. No. The treasure that they find is like rooms and rooms and rooms of just like piles of gold.
Right. Yeah.
In National Treasure. So I would bet that by weight, it's 1 billion pounds. Or are you referring to pounds like currency? Currency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I was thinking 1 billion physical pounds.
No, yeah, it's 1 billion pounds of currency, which, I mean, if you're going by, pirates, and because, my mind obviously goes to gold. If you have 1 billion, pounds worth of gold especially in those times, where a little money went a lot further.
Yeah, are we adjusting for inflation here?
Yeah, I have no idea. Is it worth 1 billion today or worth 1 billion then?
I don't know.
1 billion then would be insane.
1 billion then now would be like unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's like what made you the wealthiest person on earth? It's like, well, I found a 300-year-old pirate treasure.
So yeah.
But also even that I feel like is so storybook, like to imagine that you could like quite literally become wealthier than the people who own like Tesla, Amazon, Apple by quite literally finding treasure.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like you're going to be like wealthy beyond your wildest dreams, like being more wealthy than the wealthiest people on the planet.
Right.
would be
by finding treasure.
Because
someone else did it earlier.
Can you just tell? I mean, nothing makes me more excited. And it's like I don't even want the money. I just want the hunt. Like,
I just want the hunt.
I just want to go out there and like find, like I can find anything of any value, and it would just like it would be so much fun to be like, oh my gosh, I solved it. Like
I figured it out.
I think I sometimes, because this is like what happens with Super Carlin Brothers. So like even going back to the Pixar Theory, for example, it's like we go through and like there's nothing more thrilling to me than to think that like people who are writing these stories are writing these subplots that are sending these like little shoots off in random directions, like because they are hoping that someday somebody like will find them and pull those strings and discover what was like hidden at the end of them.
Yeah.
And it's like whether or not it was ever the author's intention for us to discover the things that we've discovered, or if part of what we're doing is just injecting our own creative flavor to the story.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like I would love to think that the writers of the story, or the directors of the films or whatever are doing these things intentionally because what they want is like someday for it to be found. But then there's also the part of me that's sort of like they're putting so much energy just into trying to create a really good story, a good visual masterpiece, that it's like to what like lengths could these people possibly be going to also additionally be hiding
like hidden messages
like the careful eye might see it.
Yeah, right.
You know, like
we didn't get time to explain this, but it's there.
It's there. It's like it's like we have there's a whole thing. You know, it's like you didn't realize like this one character, he says this one thing. You know, you never notice how it doesn't like track, but like if you put it together with everything else, it's like whoa, amazing.
Yeah,
and it's even better than the actual story when you get it, because you get that like sense of satisfaction.
Well, so once upon a time here in Roanoke, there the local radio station K92.
K92.
Yeah,
that's not how it goes.
That's not at all.
Q99. That was a different one. That was closer.
Yeah. Q99, the morning thing with Dick and Dave.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the morning thing. Gosh, Breakfast Club with Dick and Dave. Wow.
Was it the Breakfast Club?
It was the Breakfast Club with Dick and Dave. It's still Dick and Dave.
Is it really?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. K92 had the morning thing with Danny and Zach. Neither of them is there anymore.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, once upon a time, the radio station in Roanoke, K92, they had this event called the Diamond Dash.
Yes.
And the Diamond Dash was basically like this company that would come in and they would go around like the city and they would collect all these clues, and then you would sign up for it, and you would it was like a text, like text on your phone kind of competition where like when it started, everyone who was in the Diamond Dash would get a text on their phone and it would say like, what is what year was the Wigmore building founded or whatever, and
which is a building here in Roanoke.
Yeah, which is a building here in Roanoke, and you would get like an address as well, and then you'd have to be on foot and you could like run to that address and look around and try and find it, and there'd be like a plaque on the wall that would say the Wigmore building founded blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then you text back the answer, and if you were right they would say correct, and they would send you a new clue and you'd go off on your way.
Amazing.
And like yes, so this was coming to town one year, and I signed up for it, and me and our buddy Mike, he was like my partner in the race, and it was like, I think, and if you won, it was called the Diamond Dash because you like won some like very expensive like diamond ring.
Yeah,
I think it was like $10,000 in value or something from, and the whole thing's like a big promotion for whatever jewelry store was doing it or whatever, but like whatever. And I remember doing it, and like I was like the event, I was like so excited for it, and like not because like it would have been great to like win the diamond or whatever, but like at the time of doing it I was like not in a position to like propose to Beth, like we weren't there in our relationship. So I remember telling her about it. She was like, well, like, were you gonna propose? I was like, no. It's like really awkward, especially because like the whole day she was like trying to text me, and of course I could not respond because I was like in the middle of like the event or whatever.
That is so funny. I know. It's such a like, it's like, so wait, you're going to do and spend a whole day doing a competition to win a diamond ring, and we have been dating for years now. So
right. So I was like, yeah, look, but like you're right. It was like what was fun about it was like the hunt itself.
Yeah.
And I literally the day beforehand, I remember like, I walked around Roanoke trying to figure out like what the different clues might be.
Oh my gosh.
I know, and like just to, like familiarize myself. Like I was like definitely like, I mean, I know like all the roads and stuff, but it's like some of it's like I was walking down. She was like, this is this intersection. This is this intersection. This is this intersection. And like I found some, and sure enough, some of them paid off. Like, there's only so many little like things that could be clues.
Roanoke's not that big.
Roanoke's not that big. You know, they got to keep it inside of a certain area. And I remember like that there was like a 3-hour competition, and I don't think I have like run as fast like from place to place. It was like the adrenaline was so high.
Oh, I bet.
During that event.
Yeah,
it was
that's
just
thrilling.
like every second counts. Get to the next one, get the answer, send it in, move. And man, I think we came in like 5th or something. It was really close.
That's amazingly close.
I know. Yeah, we didn't quite end up getting there, but man, it was super fun. But you're right. Like I really wish, it would have been better if the prize had just been $15,000 instead of like a ring valued at that.
Right.
Because that would have been more of just like a yay, big win.
Yay. So like, do I remember correctly that during this particular occasion, I think Mike was wearing those like Vibram?
No,
like,
I was.
Oh, you were wearing them.
Yeah,
okay.
I was wearing the Vibram, the 5-finger shoes. Yeah.
I completely forgot that you actually owned those.
I
did. Now it's coming screaming back to me.
I owned them, and I was like, yeah, this will be good. This will be cool. And man, let me tell you, what a terrible footwear choice for this event where you are sprinting around sidewalks and roads.
Like concrete.
Yes. I mean, I could not stand at the end. Like during it was like, I didn't even notice it. The adrenaline was so high. And then like as soon as it was over, it was like the pain in my feet was like terrible.
I bet you were just bruising them.
It was,
like bone
basically.
bruises.
Yeah. But man, I remember, and it was like kind of crowded downtown, and it was like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, sorry, I am sprinting through you people right now. Like, get out of the way. Doesn't matter. See ya.
Yeah. If you're ever in like a public event where they're doing like a t-shirt cannon, it's like if Jay is near you, it's like you might want to just like give some space, a little bit of a buffer zone,
because I want that shirt
going all
but
out.
It's the same thing. It's the hunt. It's like, am I going to wear that shirt? No. Like,
but am I going to be the one who catches it? You better believe it.
You better believe it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Move aside, children.
Move aside. I want that triple XL shirt, yo.
Yes. Oh man, so much fun. One of these days. I feel like on my life bucket list is the opportunity to fire a t-shirt cannon.
Oh yeah.
At some point in time, or even just the t-shirt slingshot. It doesn't have to be like ultra powered or anything.
Right,
just the ability to lob t-shirts into a large crowd. It seems like fun.
It does seem fun.
And you're gonna make like a few people's day.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then like a few other people will be close, and then like, they can tell their friends about that.
Right. Yeah.
You're just handing out. You're not handing out t-shirts. You're handing out memories.
You're handing out memories. Exactly.
Yes.
Well, I don't think we're going to top that.
No, definitely not. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this year's worth of popcorn culture. It has been such a wild ride. So many fun things have happened, and we do appreciate you being here with us for all of it. As ever, if you have any feedback for the show, you can head on over, or you can email it to popcornculturepod@gmail.com. If you'd like to download the Pixar Theory, the song, see if we can get that trending.
Yo.
You can do so on iTunes. I guess we'll link that down below as well. Otherwise, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/popcornculture. And until next time,
pop.